right, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started with our program. Thank you so much for being here today. I wanted to get us kicked off. Oh, by the way, my name is Jennifer Hurst-Winder. I'm the Executive Director for Historic Germanna, for those of you who don't know me. But it's my honor to introduce Keith Hoffman, Historic Germanna's president, and he's going to give us a few welcome remarks.
Thank you very much. Again, my name is Keith Hoffman. It's a pleasure to be here with you this evening. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you all for being here this evening for a wonderful night of community history and support for historic Germanna. We're so grateful for your presence and generosity. I would like to read and recognize our list of our sponsors for the conference. As I read the names, if you're here, please stand and provide some applause. But first of all, Keith and Marianne Amberly. Thank you. Bruce and Robin Bennett. David and Marianne Brown. Thank you. Cynthia Carpenter. Kathy Clore Frost. Rhonda Gingrich. Yeah. Kristen Kapmeyer. Sharon and Rod Outen. Michael Pickle. Barbara Price. Jill Reeder. Thank you. Rod and Catherine Simmons. Okay. Rita Souther. And Craig and Dee Wolford. Thank you very much. And I'm going to introduce now Catherine Brown, a little bit of detail. Probably most of you know Catherine. She has been with the Historic Germanna for decades. And we don't usually like to let go of anybody. That's why we kind of like keep calling her back up to the podium. But Catherine is Dr. Catherine Brown is a recognized expert on the history of German immigration into the U.S. You've probably seen her. I know that I've seen her sort of on public TV in the past. And I also want to let you know that Catherine has just been extremely important to me. If it were not for Catherine, I wouldn't be standing at this podium tonight. She's just been immensely generous to the foundation and generous to me in providing guidance and counseling. And anyway, thank you very much, Catherine. So, Catherine?
I'm here to offer the invocation. So will you please bow your heads? Creator God, we gather together as descendants of modest people who came to this land 300 years ago by choice, by chance, or by force, landless folk unable to speak the language, clinging to their familiar ways and to their dreams of a better life. Our Germanna forebears kept their faith in you and in the prospects of this good land. They multiplied and prospered and left us a heritage for which we offer our heartfelt thanks. We give thanks for this food, for the hands that prepared it, and for the chance to share it with our Germanna family. May it strengthen our bodies, minds, and hearts to rise to the challenges of our times as our forebears did in their day, that we may leave to our descendants a land of freedom and justice for all. This we ask in your name and to your glory. Amen.
I also wanted to build on a little bit of what Catherine so beautifully put. This is the Germanna reunion and conference. And we hope that you're all having a wonderful time here today and that you continue to be inspired by the legacy of your ancestors. We hope that you continue to make connections with your friends and your family, and that they're strengthened, and that we can share this history with each other and the rest of the general public. So our tagline is the people, the places, and their stories. And you are the people. Here are the places, and these are your stories. So welcome to the Germanna region. Now, all of you know that we're committed to advancing historic Germanna's legacy. We have programs in archaeology. We have our archaeologists here today. So Dr. Eric Larson and Kelly Arford Horn, where are you all? There you are. Of course, we have a fantastic genealogy library, and we have our trip to Germany led by Barb Price and Kathy Frost. But I'd also like to point out, for those of you who don't know, it was started by Catherine and Madison Brown. So we also, I've talked to many of you about this, but we do offer field trips to school children. We do outreach. Our archaeologists go into the classrooms. You know that we do a lot with historic preservation. And we offer all of our public programs, including all of our school programs, at no charge. And we can only do this through your generosity. But without further ado, I am going to introduce the one and only Dennis Loba. Now, if you've been around historic Germanna for any length of time, and Dennis just told me this is his 15th year with Germanna, you likely know him. Whether he's portraying Lieutenant Governor Alexander Spotswood at Fort Germanna or Reverend John Thompson at Salubria, Dennis has long been a vibrant and beloved part of our community. He's a devoted researcher, he's a gifted storyteller, and a tireless advocate for our work. Dennis has the rare ability to make the past feel alive and personal and relevant. Well, I have to tell you, when I asked him what he wanted to talk about tonight, he wouldn't tell me. All he said is that it was something that he had been researching and that it was connected to Germanna, and he'd been researching it for quite some time, and he'd finally found enough evidence to share it. So I may be a little nervous for what he has to say, but it's Dennis, and if there's one thing I know for certain, it's that whatever he's about to talk about is going to be thoroughly researched, deeply intriguing, and absolutely entertaining. So please join me in welcoming our dear friend, Dennis Loba.
All right, what does a bicentennial book on Culpeper County, printed in the 70s, what does that, the local Masonic Lodge, okay, a cookbook, and a drawing by a French artist, what do these have in common? Well, I'm about to tell you. Back, a number of years ago, I had picked up this copy, and it was one that the county of Culpeper did, and it's decent. It's got some mistakes in it, but it was printed in 76 and 77. And in here is a chapter on Salubria, and there's an article on John Thompson. There's a lot of stuff in here. But the interesting thing about this was something that most of us normally ignore, and that's let me pull it out. The errata or the addenda. Okay? So I read this whole book, And I know many of you have been there reading books in this library and that. And I opened this up to read it because you just kind of never know what's going to be in here. And I have the beginning of my Eureka moment. Okay. Now, you all know that I'm a big student of John Thompson. Of course, I was a responsible. And this is on the Thompson side. So in this errata or addendum, it talks about a picture that's hanging in the Masonic Lodge of a guy named Thompson. He will be the first master of the Masonic Lodge in a place called Fairfax, Virginia. Now, it's not the Fairfax you're thinking of. It's Culpeper Courthouse, Fairfax. Okay, because most of you, I think, at least some of you know that it was called Fairfax until 1870, and they renamed it because of the conflict with Fairfax City as we know it today. So I was lucky enough, one day I was in downtown Culpeper running an errand for my older daughter, and the Masonic Lodge was having an open house. Okay, so I thought, being the bold director that I am, now also I have an ace in the hole. I've been a Mason for almost 50 years. So I took the liberty of going upstairs because I had to mention the name on purpose of Ebenezer Thompson. To see this picture, this supposedly was a bear, according to the errata. So I get up there and it's about that big. Okay? Doesn't have a name on it, nothing. It's the first master of the lodge, who's the head guy in charge. It is 1795. So I look at it and I'm thinking, I know this, the artist who drew this profile picture, I know who this guy is. I see his stuff. He's fairly important in the late 18th century, early 19th century. So while I'm up there in the lodge, somebody tells me, well, you want a copy of that picture? Because I did it. Well, who's selling this cookbook? Can you copy? Sure. Okay. So the fish were biting that thing. Okay. So you'll hear about 4 things you pass was, and you won't be able to see it, but you'll get the idea, was that picture, that guy. Okay. So thinking about this, and this is a process that's gone on for several years. This artist, it was eaten at me. The picture itself, the drawing itself, and I knew I had to find out more about this guy. So let me give you a quick synopsis on the artist, and then I'll reveal who all this chase was after, who it is. All right, the artist that painted this or did this particular drawing was a guy by the name of, and I know Jen knows him, his name was Charles Saint Menet, and he was a Frenchman, and he came here in 1793 to avoid the French Revolution because he was going to probably get his taken off. So he drew portraits in America. He was self-taught, and he drew portraits in America from basically 1796 to 1810. He did some 1,000 portraits. Okay? Now, but this guy's doing the who's who. He's doing Jefferson, John Marshall, anybody that was a congressman. He worked in Washington for a while. They worked, he did the Southern tour. He worked in Baltimore, Richmond, worked in Philadelphia for a while, Charleston, South Carolina. So this guy did 1,000 portraits, okay? But I was only interested in one. Now, the significance of this particular gentleman, it's the only drawing or portrait of somebody that actually, I'm not sure if he was born in Salubria. He was either born there or he was born at his mother's. His mother is from, that was John Thompson's second wife. She was from King in Queen County. And it's kind of sketchy as far as I've checked numerous places, but it's kind of sketchy whether he was born in Salubria or not. But he did live there and later inherited Salubria and was the one that sold it all from the Thompson family. And so here he is. I'll pass this around. This is Philip Root Thompson, John Thompson's youngest son from his second marriage. This was done when he was in Washington, D.C., because he was a congressman at this 1806, which it's dated. So here we have a living relative of John Thompson, and this took in one in this time. You can kind of see my quest here, you know. So I get out, I'm going to reveal myself, and I don't want to, but so I get on the internet the other day to look up something. I thought, oh, I'll put his tape here, and this picture comes up. Chase. Okay, so the internet is a good and a bad day. All right, let me tell you a little bit. In fact, here, I'll pass this around. That way you can see. But he is the only, Thompson, John Thompson was born. Now, this is an interesting thing about it, too. John Thompson, there's about 3 different years born. 1698, 1700, and 1702. All right. Philip Root there, he was born in 1766. So that old John, you must have had some good. Think about it. It's like 66 years old or older. And this is his youngest son. Makes, I don't know if I'd laugh, but.
Says kept on. Men.
All right, to explain the family, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the dates and stuff, but when John Thompson married Widow Spotswood, they had 2 children, Anne and William. Anne was born in 1744. William was born in 1749. Then, of course, Mrs. Spotswood dies, and he marries Susanna Davenport. I'm sorry, he marries Elizabeth Roots, who was the daughter of Major Philip Root of King and Queen County, Virginia. They have 3 children together. They have Mildred, that's a name, isn't it? 1760, there's no Mildred.
Straight.
Mildred's born in 1761. John Jr. is born in 1764. And then we have Philip, who's named after his grandfather, obviously. He's born, his date's a little sketchy, but I'm going to go on the one on his gravestone, 1767. And he's the last born. Now, his mother inherits Salubria when John Thompson dies in 1772. And he has private tutors, and then he goes away to school, and he ends up graduating from William Mary.
Wow.
And he passes the bar, and he becomes a lawyer, and he's pretty well known. He serves in the Virginia House of Delegates, in the Virginia Legislature. He's in the U.S. Congress between 1803 and 1807, and then he went back to the practice of law until his death. Now, he moved from here after he sold Salubria. He moved to, it's got about 4 names, but today it's known as St. Albans, West Virginia. That kind of course with the G. It is him, and he lays out the lots and the streets of that particular town. Now, that town goes through several names. At one time of his name, Philippi. Okay, now there's a town in West Virginia today that's named that. It's after a different Philip, okay? And eventually they changed the name to St. Albans, and he loses that stature, so to speak. the town meeting. He's buried in St. Albans in the College Hill Cemetery, and he passed away on July 23rd, 1837. And I'm going to read his epitaph, and then I'll pass this around. This is his gravestone. Having sustained through life the character of an upright citizen and an honest man, he left a numerous family of descendants to lament his loss and imitate his virtues. His afflicted widow caused this stone to be placed over his grave. Okay? He had something like, I should know, but off the top of my head, he had 10, I think he had 10 children. So he left some serious descendants to lament his death. Okay? So this is a copy of the streets. So it doesn't matter in closing, doesn't matter how you get there, where you get there. Okay? And like I say, the hardest thing to swallow for me was this happened 2 or 3 nights ago. So when I punched in his name and his picture came up. Now, the one thing I didn't mention, this picture that's in the Masonic Lodge is a really bad copper. And the picture in the cookbook is from that, but it doesn't have any name or date on it, whereas this one I'm passing around does. And that was right out of St. Memnon's, or Memnon, his catalog. And his catalog exists. If you want to look it up, you'll see all these just really, really cool tries. The difficult part of it is the fact that they're dissimilar, but they're very similar. And you have to look at them to appreciate birds. But again, in closing, sometimes you gotta get into the Sonic Lodge, you gotta find a put, but it's all right.